Hello. After covering both the Chapayev and the Budyonny, a lot of people asked me if I will cover the Shchors as well, so I figured, what the hell, might as well do it. Now, this is T8 matchmaking, so not exactly the most optimal. I don't have the range upgrade either, because, well, I haven't gotten the XP for that stuff yet, since I'm playing on my NA account. And, well, usually you want to take a more ranged approach with this ship. You kind of want to kite and spam HE and keep kiting and spam HE and so forth. Basically the same type of playstyle you saw in my Chapayev commentary. So I figured, why bother showing the exact same thing again? Someone is wondering, why does that name look familiar? XXX Potato Gun? Anyway, where was I? Right, so you play it very similarly to the Chapayev, you just have less stealth to do it, so it's not as strong as doing the same thing. And this one is significantly harder to brawl with than the Budyonny, because it's not nearly as armored as the Budyonny. But that doesn't mean that you can't brawl with this ship, and you can't have fun with it. I mean, yes, the ship is easy to citadel, yes, the ship turns like an absolute brick, in fact it has a 900 meter turning circle. By the way, I told at the start, I told this Oxtail guy that if he pushes into these islands, I will come and support him, which is exactly what I'm doing now. So my plan from the start is to do some brawling. And looks like, is he gonna get targeted by these planes? Okay, I'm expecting him to stop in the smoke, is he? No, he's still moving. Oh shit, I need to pop defensive AA. I was a bit late on the defensive AA there. I didn't expect my Farragut to push out of the smoke. But he should be fine now. I'll be spreading the rest with the bombs and the torps, and he managed to dodge the first one, so this should be A-okay. The Shchors AA, it's not that good, but if carrier insists on flying literally right on top of you, like this guy's doing, and having his planes hang around right on top of me for this long, yes, you can shoot down a fair amount of planes, but it's not very strong. It's quite weak. It's not as terrible as Budyonny one, but yeah, don't expect to be shooting down much. It's not until the Chapayev that your AA really starts to become strong on these Russian cruisers. Now, the guns, however, are very strong. It's honestly like Cleveland, but squishier, but with much flatter arcs. So anything long range you can just harass to death with HE, like non-stop, constant. Just like the Chapayev with this many guns and this quick of a reload, you actually end up starting a ton of fires and you can get ridiculous burning damage on battleships, provided you survive. Because when you kite away and you spam HE constantly, it's inevitable battleships will take you as a target. And with a 900 meter turning circle, well, it's not always that easy to dodge stuff, especially since your citadel is the size of an Atlanta, and you turn like a brick, so, and your armor is non-existent. So it's not necessarily that much fun, but that's most of the time how you want to be playing it. However, I like to mix things up. I don't always play the ships basically the way they are meant to be played. And sometimes you can still have success while going a lot more aggressive, because even though it's not necessarily the best suited for brawling, because of the extremely clunky turning circle, it does still have very strong and very quick close range torps. They're like 70 knots. They're only 4k in range though, but they're literally brawling torps. They are 70 knots and they hit quite hard. And your turret traverse isn't that bad either. I mean, it's not the fastest, but it's not a nightmare either. Okay, the smoke is running out. Time to start moving then. Keeping these planes focused, of course. My defensive AA should reload fairly soon. Oh, wait, what does my eyes see on the minimap? Oh shit, that's in New Orleans. Fully upgraded as well. Okay, gotta turn fast. New Orleans AP is, of course, nightmarish. Luckily he had HE loaded. So I'll use HE right now at the start, because he is angling. And there's no chance of ever penning him with my AP from through the nose. New Orleans is tanky. It's a tier higher and it's incredibly tanky. So I'm trying to use my back turrets, but I'm really scared of giving any sort of broadside to this guy, because he can sit at me really easily. But oh, hello, that AP. Oh, 7k hit on me, but no citadels. He wasn't close enough to the citadel to hit it there. But here you see, I'm switching to AP as well. And something people don't always respect is the AP potential of this ship. And the AP potential of the Shchors. Well, if you give him a full broadside, whoopsie daisy. That was 7 citadels, and that's 1 less New Orleans. So if you do get in close quarters brawling fights, the quick reload and the AP power can be quite a nasty surprise to a lot of cruisers. No doubt to that New Orleans, he probably has no idea what just happened, because he got instantly deleted off the face of the earth. And that's very fun and very enjoyable when you manage to surprise him like that. And of course, you are a real terror to DDs. This game, well, I kind of wish I had Hydra, but then again, with all these planes around me, I'm actually glad I have defensive AA. And here comes the next problem though, with Scharnhorst. Regardless of how good this AP is, it's still only 152mm, so even glorious Stalinium shells will not be citadeling, especially a Scharnhorst. So I aim a bit high on the broadside and see if I can get some penetrating damage on him. Are there bombers coming from me as well? Okay, well, let's... Is he focusing near the Farragut? See, the good thing is the Farragut is also pushing quite aggressively. I don't want to torp yet, I want to wait for him to... You don't want to panic torp, you want to wait until he dedicate... There we go. You want to wait until he decides on where he wants to turn. As soon as he decides, it's very hard in a battleship to take back your decision once you have decided to turn one way or another. So that's why you always want to wait until you see them make a left or right, and you want to wait until you see which way they're turning before you decide to actually launch the torps, because you really only have one chance. And even hitting all the torps wasn't enough to kill him, but luckily this right side torps are just now reloading. Now I need to dodge these torps. Nice, managed to just barely dodge them. But now I'm in a bit of an issue, namely I have grounded and I'm surrounded by DDs on both sides. And the carrier is on me. So wow, this is not the best chance. But the Hatsuharu was dumb enough to stick around even after I killed this guy. So you see how quickly his HP melts, just how much damage he took there. And you see 3 fires. He's probably got his repair active, but still, even in the smoke, I can still hit him. And now we have another issue. This Farragut decides this is the time to YOLO me. Okay, dodging torps from a standstill at 1.4 km. I don't think even I will be able to dodge this, but I should be able to get him with me. Yes, I actually managed to get him with me, and that's what I meant with the turret traverse. Even though it's not optimal, it's certainly not bad, and you can do silly things like that to catch them quite off guard. From this, the game, of course, ended quite soon after, and we managed to clinch the victory. 124k damage. Team score-wise, well, it's always nice to see a T7 on the top, especially since it's not really a fully upgraded Shchors, so that's always satisfying. Hit-wise, 7 citadels, it was all on that one poor New Orleans. Yeah, I did 30k damage, 30.5k damage to him. Poor guy. Well, I don't think he'll be showing full broadside to Shchors again, perhaps. Not in the near future at least, but for a 7-minute 30-second game, that was pretty good damage. Now, I might as well move on right to the modules. Of course, as I said, I got the hull upgrade, because it simply gives you so much stuff. It gives you rudder shift, which you need, it gives you HP, which you desperately need, it gives you some AA, so you're not as vulnerable. It even buffs your torps. You actually go from these 2x3 torps to 2x4 with the hull upgrade. So yes, it adds a significant chunk to the reload, but that doesn't really matter, because when you go in with this, you kind of want them to be these YOLO type of torps, and I think the 2x4 setup is simply just better. And if everything about the hull is great. Range upgrade is of course the next upgrade that you should get, and I should get. I use premium repair, always recommend. Premium defensive AA, a bit arguable, but I do prefer defensive AA, because otherwise I feel you're so vulnerable to carriers. Main armaments mod 1, and of course, oh, I forgot to mention spotting aircraft. I actually use that sometimes when kiting, especially since I don't have the range upgrade. AA guns mod, not really any need to use that until you get to the Chapayev. It's nice on the Chapayev, but on this ship you simply don't really have enough AA to justify it. As you saw, it really wasn't that strong. Steering gears 1 and 2, don't want it to break, and you want to be able to minimize this horrible turning circle as much as you can. Actually, I'm going to buy this now so I don't forget it. Using 3k, 3 XP isn't a big deal. Captain perks wise, basics of survivability, absolutely. Expert marksman, superintendent, which is something, a demolition expert, by the way, superintendent is something which will rise in value significantly. At T8 you get additional radars, T9 you get additional heals. It's a perk that's just gonna get stronger the higher tier you get. And of course concealment expert, once you get a 15-point captain, that's what you are saving up for. Anyway, that was my quick Shchors commentary. I hope you guys enjoyed it.